This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Wow, what an unexpected start to this AM drive here in the Masai Mara in Kenya. We have stumbled upon a hippopotamus who I believe must be making his way, his or her, it's a bit hard to tell the sex from back here. I'd say it's been out grazing all night and is making its way back to some sort of waterhole for the morning. It did also seem to be wallowing in a little bit of mud just before as well, so it must be a bit of a muddy patch out there. I'm just going to move. Oh, no, we're not. Actually doesn't want me to move. We'll just stay with the elephant. So my name is Patrick. Joining me on camera today, as I just said, is Archie. And we are coming to you live, as I also said, from the Masai Mara here in Kenya. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please interact with us using that hashtag SafariLive or the YouTube chat stream. So this elephant that we're seeing out on the left here actually got up. It was sleeping behind the hippo, laying flat on its side, and it just got up and gave the hippo a bit of a warning kind of cry, and that's prompted the hippo to walk off into the distance now. So the plan for today is to head up towards the Sausage Republic. I would like to check in on the Snag Tree Pride, snag being the Australian term for sausages. Doreen, that tangerine sky is absolutely amazing, isn't it? What a perfect start to the day. A hippo and an elephant already, and we're not even 5 minutes into the drive. And, of course, the beautiful setting of the Masai Mara Game Reserve. So, let's move on forward and head up towards, hopefully, some lions. We haven't seen them for a few days now, and as I said, last time we saw them was with Kinky Tail and looked like she'd lost the pride. So it would be interesting to see whether she's reunited with them and also whether she's reunited with her cubs as well. And what is actually going on with those little cubbies. Starting to grow up quickly now. Still got their cute little lion faces though. Well, it's a little bit of a journey up, so I'm going to keep on pressing forward. But in the meantime, let's go down to Juma with Ollie and his spotlight.
Good morning. My name is Ollie, and joining us behind the camera is James. So welcome to the sunrise safari. It's still dark. The clouds are moving away now. Hopefully we'll have a sunny day. So we are coming to you live from the western flanks of the Kruger National Park, South Africa, indeed in the Sabi Sands. So my plan for today is to go and look to a hyena den. Then we'll see what's happening there. If there's no activity, I will go to Treehouse, and then I will go to the western area and look for the hook. I've never seen hook. Oh, disasters of the morning. So for any questions and comments, you can send them on hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or YouTube chat stream. It's still a little bit dark because it's nearly the end of summer, so the weather is changing. Even now in the morning, it's a bit chilly. It's 21 degrees Celsius. That's 69.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, I'm also excited to go and look for hukumuri, and the viewers are looking forward to see the hook. Or maybe we'll be lucky and see Shidulu with her cubs. I've never seen Shidulu. I'm looking forward to... Oh, I have to duck and dive here because of these elephant droppings. You know, there will be a lot of beetles in these droppings, and City will be mad at me. So I'm not alone this morning. Let's go and see what my colleague has.
Thanks, Claudia. Well, we indeed have found an elephant who is drinking out of one of these little sort of seasonal rain-fed pans. And Jandro is commenting because the first bit of water he put in, he just splashed all the way out the side. Excuse me, and that is exactly how they sometimes will drink, to test the water first. If he sees it suitable to his taste buds, he shall drink some more. As we listen to the white-browed scrub robin shouting behind us. Good morning, everybody. My name is indeed Steve, and I'm joined by Jandro and Camera, and what a wonderful day it is. It seems to be a little bit sort of overcast, but that really nice sort of temperature that's going to sort of warm up shortly. And who knows what this morning bodes for all of us. Send through your questions, hashtag SafariLive, or your comments. Also throw them in on the YouTube chat stream. My plan is to go and see if we can maybe follow up on the tracks of Tlalamba from yesterday. I do believe that Tandi also moved back in towards Djuma yesterday. Up Chidakatlan was the last I heard. So we'll spend a bit of time in the east seeing if we can find either of those two. But any of your requests are most welcome. I still need to work on finding my platypus for Kirsten last night. It didn't make it easy for me. So I indeed hear Holly's expression there. It is one of those mornings where it's miss the poo in the road. I've been swerving. There is so much elephant dung in the road at the moment. It's unbelievable. You need to move and drive around them so as not to create or to damage the ecosystems created by the elephant bolus. Dung beetles and all sorts of larvae alike are living inside there. Is this boy going to come closer, Jandre? He gaze turned around. He's a beautiful boy. Okay, well, it seems like Pat has moved on from his elephant and hippo and rather quickly found some big cats.
Good luck I am having indeed out here this morning. It's been great. I haven't really had to move far at all to get some great animals. So this isn't the sausage tree pride. This is the olololos. It seems like we just have the young males here at the moment. So we've got this one on the left and then on the right-hand side of the road as well. We've got another one flat here. And then just on this hand side of the road as well, just sorry for myself and that car, we are in this siding with another vehicle. And so there is another young olololo. So I haven't actually caught up with these guys since I've been back in the Mara, but they're definitely the pride I spent the most amount of time with last time I was here. And these young males are really starting to come into their form now. They've even grown in the last few months since I've seen them. They're starting to really look like men. Absolutely epic now. Sorry, you are going to hear a little bit of vehicle noise right now as this one moves past. But what an awesome start to this drive. So, yes, they do have such lovely eyes. Real nice stares. Those beautiful kind of, I don't even know, yellowy orange, burnt orange almost. Absolutely beautiful. It looks like they're all starting to cuddle up together now. It is pretty cold this morning, 17 degrees Celsius, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. We can see that by the condensation coming from the breath. Alana, they are very handsome young men. I'm sure they're going to be some lady killers when they grow up. Whether or not they will end up mating with the olololo pride in the future, I'm not sure. I dare say they'll probably go out on their own though. There's enough here to definitely form a coalition together. So I am still going to go and check on these sausages, but I just thought I would stop and check in with my olololos. That's just nature, isn't it? Sometimes you can just not even really try and go out there and just see everything. And then sometimes you can be searching and looking and tracking for hours on end and never get a thing. But you got to take the good with the bad, and this morning so far has been good. I'm going to continue on my good lucky morning down here in the Mara, and I believe Stephanie is down in South Africa with some elephants.
Well, good morning. It is indeed a glorious morning as we spend some more time with the five-legged elephant. And I still do believe quite strongly that a big male elephant, if they're feeling a little bit submissive, they feel the need to drop their most valuable of members. And so he's now got his head in the branch, busy feeding, watching us quite closely, but indicating very, very clearly that he doesn't want any sort of fight. Because why would anyone put out their most valuable member in the time of a sword fight? Doesn't make sense. Anyway, maybe he's going to say something to us now. His eyes, look at his eyes, Andre. Go right up in his eyes. You see how his eyes are very wide? When you can see the whites of an elephant's eyes, that's one of the first things in their behavior to change. You can see his head. It's also a little bit sort of up. There's a good chance he might come a little bit closer and basically say, come on, guys, I didn't want to fight. You know, when you catch a dog doing something they're not supposed to do, their eyes just go kind of wide, and that's seemingly what we've done. We've caught this guy, and he seems to feel like he's in a bit of the naughty corner. It's okay, my boy. Everything's good. Magnificent specimen. Yes, we do need a very large naughty corner for this kind of ellie. He's in his mid-20s or so. He's not a fully grown male. So it's quite often that these younger males are normally quite submissive when they encounter larger elephants. And sometimes I think when they see us, they think we're a larger elephant. I'm not really sure. So it seems like Patrick is going to be sticking to the Stephanie discussion of yesterday. There's also, he's got a bit of an itchy belly there. That is some serious moves, buddy. So if you ever had difficulty sexing male versus female elephants, in this situation, it's normally quite easy. Male elephants, often when you approach male elephants or they approach you, they'll often drop their penis as sort of, in my opinion, a sign of sort of submissive behavior. I've never seen a musk bull do it before, so they're never really submissive when they're in must. Going to come as close to us as he wants to. You bear in mind, elephant bulls do get a little bit lonely. Sorry about the aerial. He's decided to come right behind us. They do get a little bit lonely. They like to hang out with other people, well, with other elephants and also with vehicles. I've spent many times with elephants just like this. He just wants to hang out quite close by. He likes the soothing voice. He's now going to, you're going to eat some buffalo thorn there. Mike, it is indeed cool. It's very nice to spend time with big male elephants. I've spent so much time on foot and in vehicles, and their behavior is always very, very similar, especially when they're not fully grown males, because they quite often can be a little bit naughty when they're not fully grown. Kind of, they know that they're big, and they quite often try and give some sort of behavior to the car. But when they are very big elephant bulls, they are really special, because they know they're huge and almost nothing bothers them when they're really big. They're almost bulletproof, you could say. He's slowly retracted his member. Thank you, sir. And now as he slowly heads south, we're just here at Chelapan. Always a nice place to check. I do like to check Chelapan every day for any sort of leopard activity. Alana, there's no writings about it that I've found. I've only found through my own experience that an elephant bull who is sort of showing submissive behavior will often do that. But I don't know if there's another one coming behind him there. Let's go and see if this is his friend. Let's just move forward. You'll get him now, Jandre. You got him? There's a second male elephant coming from the other side. Let's see what happens with these two. Maybe we should go out there, shall we? He's going to turn a little bit. Now, let's go out. We go out onto the road. So he might behave the same as he did with us now. Body language is huge in elephants, obviously, with their such big body size. Body language is so important in their society, and how they behave with each other is actually quite interesting to watch. You know, we spend a lot of time with hyenas and seeing how they behave socially. Elephants have got very similar sort of behavior. Obviously, they don't do the same sort of sniffing of the genitals as well as hyena do, but there's definite little cues that they go through, especially with their trunk and their body language. And here we go. There's definitely going to be some interaction between these two bulls here. It might just be one turning his shoulder and disappearing while the other one tests the air. Okay, well, there. So some of you are wondering if male elephants get aggressive during must. Well, you know, the word aggressive is something we need to move away from. They do have a little bit more sort of testosterone in them, so they're more sort of prone to being a little bit more pushy. And if you annoy them or you get in their way, they'll definitely show you that. Okay, let's watch what's going on here. This guy's bigger. He's walking towards him. It's all body language happening right here. And we'll see how these two behave. The one who's going to be submissive will turn his shoulder. He'll turn his back, turn his shoulder to the other one. Let's see what happens. I just had a glimpse of some elephants in the bushes there. Okay, see, one on the left's going to turn his shoulder. Going to say, I'm not here to fight you. There we go. That's elephant submissive behavior in bulls very clearly. And it's very obvious, isn't it? And now there might be some sniffing. He might take his trunk and sniff him. Yep, there we go. Let me smell you there. Let me see what I'm in for. And by doing that, immediately they become sort of friends, because the one has said, okay, you're bigger, and then they can at least carry on together and go and drink and spend some time. But I did have a glimpse of what probably was some breeding herds in the distance, just in the thickets there. And that might be why these bulls are hanging out together. Neither of them look like they're in must. And must, it's not about aggression, but must does make an elephant bull sort of more physically fit than another elephant bull. Mike, I mean, size is often what you look for when it comes to elephants, and they can see it. The subtleties of size might be only slight, but I saw the difference in their size there, and immediately this guy on the left just went, his eyes went wide like they did with us initially. He started trying to smell the air to see, because they can smell each other. They reckon elephants can recognize 200 other elephants by sound alone. So by smell, probably even more than that. So he would have known who he was, and immediately as he came a bit closer, he just sort of turned away. Like in human society, a bit of deference, we bow or we do some form of behavior. So he's coming right up behind us now. Hello, boy. Are you going to come and show us you're much bigger than us, are you? It's okay. It's okay. 10 high, when you spend enough time with these animals, it's quite easy to know it's going to happen. Like now, his eye is quite wide and he's watching us closely. And he's basically, he doesn't want to seem like dismissive in a way, but he's going to be sort of right close here, displacement feeding, as you were. His back is to us there, but he can see like a horse. They've got that eyesight that comes back like here. So he's watching us the whole time, and he wants to be close, but he's also showing us his shoulder to show that we are a little bit more dominant than him at the moment. So he's going about his business, feeding on what looks like a leadwood tree. Very nice. But they don't want to lose face, elephant bulls, so he won't do anything untoward. He won't probably shake his head now. He's above that sort of age, you know. When they're a little bit younger, sort of 18, 19, 20, they quite often behave in all sorts of ways, expecting you to run away because, well, that's what works with mum. But we don't do it, we don't run away, so then they get a little bit shy, and then they start displacement feeding next door. This guy's a little bit older than that. He knows that that sort of behavior doesn't work. So he just will come a little bit closer and feed and stand as big as he can, watch us. For example, if I had to start the car now, he would probably behave in a way by turning and maybe even moving slightly off, but without losing too much face. Okay, well, we're going to stay here with this elephant bull because it's magnificent to spend time with these giants so close. But it seems like Oli has managed to get to the Djuma den. Let's go see who's there.
I'm also enjoying my sighting, Steve. We have a lot happening this morning. This one you're looking at right now, it's Plonk. You can see the white fur on her waist. Hey, Plonk. And this one, oh, and there's this previous cup. I think it's under, oh, here it comes there. And then this one, because yesterday we were here, and then we saw Ribbon, but I don't think this Ribbon because Ribbon has an injured left ear. Look at Plonk, this is our previous cup. You can see the tail there, he's lifting up the tail because he's starting to learn how to mark territories. Nature girl, Plonk is such a nuisance. Yes, indeed. And Plonk has grown, hey? If they didn't come this side and stay at Little Kauri on the southern reserve, where we didn't have, we were not allowed to drive. We were not going to be able to identify Plonk between Preedy's cubs. So they're back on track, and then Plonk it's easy to identify him. You can see there's greeting going on there. What kind of weather do these guys prefer, like hyenas? For me, I think it's this weather is this the right weather for them because it's cloudy and it's nice and chilled. Because you can see they have this fur. They have this fur that is thick. And sometimes normally you see them during the hot days, they will go to a pen and just sit in the water there. They're just all around the area. Just all over around the area. Oh, what happened? Or maybe they smell something. Oh, here's another one coming there. Oh, what happened here? I'm not sure what happened. Or maybe they smell something. You know, hyenas, they have an acute sense of smell. Yes, it looks like someone just had a fight or there's some disciplinary hearing going on. Oh, this one, it's pale, very pale. And the pale hyena I've ever seen in this clan, which is called the Djuma clan of hyenas. It's June. So I have to make sure of that before telling the exact name. And if it's June, then if the black and small cubs comes out, and then this definitely will be June, because she has two cubs who are less than 2 months old. They have black fur. Let's listen to that. Maybe she will call for these cubs. So while we were waiting for this mom to call her cubs, let's go to Steve with the elephants.
Oh, thanks, Corley. Very nice to spend time with the Juma clan in the morning. I'm still with these two big bulls, and the one bull has gone back. He's going back the way he came, and this bull is just sort of feeding, pretending he doesn't really care. But if you look at him closely, he's watching. And he's going, oh, I just wish I could hang out with that guy for a few hours. He doesn't seem to want to hang out with me. But, he's broken off some of that leadwood tree, and he's now going through a little bit of the corkscrewing motion that is so characteristic of elephants feeding. Interesting that they actually do feed on leadwoods. Carol, as far as I know, that's what males do in the world. They generally, whatever species it is, it's always got to do with a lady, doesn't it? Yeah? So definitely when females come into estrus, it's all about males competing for those females. And it's not often you get to see proper elephant fights. But when you do, wow, it is quite something to behold. Tons of animals versus other animals, versus tons of elephant. Is always very interesting. But I mean, he's a monster, but he's still quite young. He's still got some growing to do. And, well, he's going to damage this leadwood. Don't break it, though, sir. There we go. Very easily broken. There's more elephants. Chelapan. I think this was a different elephant bull that passed us by here. There's quite a few of them here. We'll try and see who else is around. I saw at least two in the thickets before going down into the drainage. That possibly were part of a breeding herd. It's hard to say. It might even be a group of males. You often will find you get groups of males together. A big old male with a whole lot of young bulls. They call his askari. Just follow him around, learn. Uh-oh, watch this. Wow. Look at that. There we go. There's the leadwood tree gone. And that was a leadwood, everybody. That is a very hard wood, and he snapped it like a matchstick. Let's just move up and see if he's even going to feed on it properly, Chandra, shall we? I hope he will, but he hasn't. The position he's at, you see, he's still got this angle towards us, and he'll keep that angle for as long as he can. I'll go in front of him here. That's all right. There we go. He's watching us very closely as he stuffs his mouth with leadwood leaves and branches. Is that good? Okay, well, this elephant is fighting over his branches and leaves. Hopefully this tree will be left alone shortly. In the meantime, let's go to the hyenas who are fighting over some scraps.
I'm still relocating. Sorry about that. It's okay? Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm still trying to get a nice view here. And sorry about that. Corky came with a carcass. You can see Plonk is feeding there, and Corky is chasing the previous cubs away from the carcass. And this carcass it's a young impala. You can see how they devour this carcass. And this might not take long because the hyenas, they've strong. You look at that. This is Corky. He's chasing the other cubs away. Look at that. Look. They will try to sneak in when she looks away from the carcass. This is easily to identify because only the matriarch is allowed to bring the carcass next to the den. So because if the low-ranking females or males, if they bring the carcass, then the matriarch will take that carcass. And look at that. I never thought that Plonk has this strength. Oh, a carcass. Some viewers are wondering what the carcass is. The carcass is an impala, because I saw the tail when she came with it here. And look at these youngsters. They are still young to feed on meat, but I think they will try to sneak in and see what's in there and what's smelly. Remember, even if they are still suckling, but they might eat. And then this is what is happening now. But they are still skittish, you know. They grab one bite and they move away. Look at that. This is indeed crazy. MNFC saying this is crazy. And they don't care whether it's a skin, meat, or bone. They will crush everything. This is what they prepare for when they're still young and biting and trying to break twigs. Jane also, the lions will come and bite Corky again. I don't think lions will come this side, or maybe they might come, but Corky she's alert now. That's why they will devour this whole carcass. Or look, and that's not Plonk. You see, it's the previous cubs, and they're trying to get in to the bushes there, so that they will feed nicely there without any disturbance. And look, those are previous cubs, and Plonk is just walking around as if he's not hungry. Oh, yes, they're at the kids' table. Bill, they're at the kids' table. Yes, indeed, Bill. And look at that youngster there, just tucking in and trying to get a nice chunk of meat. But they're still skittish, eh? Oh, here, Plonk. I don't know what's wrong. Plonk is running away, and then he's looking on the opposite side. Oh. Albeit, yes, they don't seem so selfish like lions when they feed. But because now we have the youngsters here, they're trying to grab and every piece they can get. But if an adult comes here like Corky, she will chase away all the cubs that they don't belong to her. She will let Plonk eat. This is Plonk, and look what's happening here. Plonk is not here. Pretty comes. It's not. What's this? Oh, yes, this is Corky. And look what's happening. Look what's happening. Please take that carcass away from the car, please. Yes. Good boy. That's Plonk. Good boy. Good boy. And look at Cork. He's chasing all the previous cubs. Good boy.
Head.
Oh, sorry about my head there. And that's Plonk. They have to learn how to devour a carcass quickly when they're still young, because you know, hyenas, they don't have any, like I can say, places to stash this carcass here, because they must devour it. Some predators can smell it, and they can come here, and these ones can be vulnerable. Yo, Plonk is grown. He just dragged that carcass away from the den side. So for now, let's see what's happening. Hopefully we'll come back with the bang. Let's go to my friend on the other side.
It is a very good morning indeed. You can hear quite a lot of birds now vocalizing, advertising their presence in this area, and most of all, welcome to the beginning of the guided walk. This is Sydney Fumurani Mikosi, and I'm traveling with Senzo as well as Rexen, who is my game scout this morning. We are going to try by all means to get you see a lot of interesting animals, starting from the tiny little insects, including the big animals, which will be considered as a bonus. So for in case if you need my attention, I am highly available on Twitter. You can just follow us on #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. So listen to that. I can hear the francolins are also making quite a lot of yeah, I can hear the birds are also appreciating our presence here in the area this morning. I can hear quite a lot of francolins are calling not very far away from here where we are. So the weather is nice and cool. It's suitable for the guided walk. So it's not windy and it's not cold. When it's not windy, it's much better when it comes to trekking. So it's very easy to trek this morning than the other days. So now let's go to Steve, who is already lucky with a big animal.
Well, thanks, Sid. It's good luck out there. Well, that elephant that pushed over the leadwood tree was displaced by the other bull, who came back waltzing from Chelapan, dripping of must. I think it was a different bull altogether. He's much bigger, much more rounded head, and he didn't even have to do anything. He just walked in towards the leadwood that he liked the sound of when it broke, and he just taken over. And the other guy just disappeared, turned his shoulder and walked off, a sign of submissiveness. Elephants obviously like to push over trees, and I've seen them react to the snapping of trees quite often in my life. And often bigger bulls will come and take the broken over tree that's been broken by a small elephant. Invariably, it's generally only the big bulls that are able to break down trees. There's sort of a technique to really large trees, such as fever trees. I remember watching up in the Makuleki Northern Kruger Pafuri area. There's a fever tree forest, and there was only a number of elephant bulls that had the technique, the necessary technique to actually snap those trees down. And it required them putting their trunk and face against it and kind of rocking the tree a few times, and then 3, 2, 1 on the fourth push it would snap. And so as soon as you heard that, you'd suddenly find 5 or 6, there we go, he's just given someone a warning. 5 or 6 elephants would come coursing in to go and feed on the fallen tree, which they'll then spend hours doing, eating almost everything. Data, very interesting actually. I mean, in the summer months, elephants feed almost exclusively on grasses, but as the winter months start to draw in, they'll start deriving and getting all sorts of vegetation from the leaves and branches of trees, but they do like fruit. Marulas is one of those things that makes elephants go a little bit crazy. They eat the bark, the leaves, and the fruit. And here he's ripping some buffalo thorn. He's going to put that in his mouth there. There's little berries on the buffalo thorn and also straight and hooked thorns. And it's quite incredible to see how they can basically take apart a buffalo thorn tree. You would be bleeding right now, and the elephant is not only using its trunk to do so, it's going to stick it in its very seemingly unprotected mouth. So as the dry season comes, they will definitely focus on certain trees more than others. You see them really hammer sicklebush trees. They really do huge damage to the raisin trees that we have out here. They don't get very big. And buffalo thorns also get smashed. At some times of year, you also find them eating a lot of the silver cluster leaf, and I don't know exactly why. But there's definitely medicinal value in the plants that they seemingly are choosing at certain times of year. But like the Mara elephants, where the vegetation is very good because of good soil, they'll feed on huge amounts of grass material. But as the rains sort of disappear and the grass starts to get a bit more fibrous and a little bit more sort of low in nutrients, elephants will definitely switch their diet to the browse and bark layer. Okay, well, while we probably move on from these elephants, let's take you back up to the Masai Mara with Patricia.
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, we're just driving along and along started cruising a little hammerkop flying right next to us, and it just landed at the road in front of us and now seems to be doing a little bit of foraging. Very cool, very obscure looking bird, called a hammerkop because of that hammer-shaped head. It's a bit hard to see now, but if it moves onto its side, oh yeah, that's a better view there. You can see it really does look like a hammer. It's a very, very interesting bird. They build huge, massive nests, usually in a really quite sturdy, large tree. They can get to 1.2 metres in diameter, which is about 5 feet. It's a pretty wide nest. It's big enough to fit both the pair, so the mating pair in there, and their chicks. And they'll often also decorate it with colourful objects as well. So this is also to impress the mate, because they won't just build a nest when they're breeding. Their males will actually build nests year round. Actually, I think both the pairs can participate in the building of the nests all year round, even when there aren't young coming. So a very interesting little bird, the hammerkop. Cool, so we are almost up to sausage territory. Indigo Girl, they are really good nest builders. I would love to see one also. I did see one last time I was here, funnily near camp area. So I'll definitely keep my eye out to see if I can spot one on the way back through. Maybe it might still be in that same spot, but I doubt it though. That was quite a while ago. But yes, I would love to show you all one of their nests. I've even seen some photos of them. They've decorated it with human stuff. Whilst I carry on and try to avoid and Sydney.
I've got something very much said here on the ground. I can see that the termites are stuck here right on the ground. So it seems like something very much big stepped on this beginning of a tunnel here and right in front of us. Look at that. And I can even see that, oh, there is a few soldiers and one worker there. If you look at this one here is different from this one. So this is a worker. The workers has got a very small head and a very big abdomen. And the soldiers are these ones. Look at that. You can see he's trying to bite me. You can see so those are the mandibular parts. Look, the ants are coming there trying to get hold of these stacked termites in there. Look, one is pulling. And I think because if you can check some of the termites in their stomach, they've got something which can be sticky. And when they are stuck on the floor like this, it's very difficult for these ants to pull them. You can see this one here. And also this one is trying to cut that termite, and the ant is going away now. So it is said that something just destroyed them. As this kind of insects are some of those insects who play a very significant role here by this ecology. When they are busy eating the wood from the dead plants, they help in order to facilitate the decomposition process. So they help when it comes to the nutrient cycle, because they are taking everything back to the soil in order to fertilize this soil. So the interesting part about the termites is that the soldiers, sometimes when they're already old. So now let's quickly go back to Collie, who is lucky with the elephant by the Hynedale.
Ellie has joined the clan. Hopefully it will give us some action, because I think it hasn't smelled the carcass yet, because it's smelly right here. So the way it's so calm, I think it didn't smell. But it heard the sounds of these hyenas, because they were calling and calling. And Koki has moved the carcass away from the den, and now she's not pleased with what is happening here, because there's this hyena I can't even identify. And then she's not pleased with, she's chasing it away. Here an elephant comes. This is going to be magic. Here's a young one. Pretty's cub is standing its ground. Check that. Look at the size difference. This small one has guts, I can say. That is indeed crazy. I'm sure it's not even weighing more 10 to 5 kilograms, and the elephant is about 3,000. Oh, here, Corky there is running. I don't know what happened. Corky's running to that side where the elephant is heading. Corky's just on the other side. This elephant is looking at Corky, because Corky just ran away from the den to that side, and then the elephant tried to chase it. What is really happening here? Let's be patient and see what's going to happen, because I can't move an inch from where I am. The hyenas are all over the place. Indigo girl, you think the elephant could be on mast, and then it will go for the hyenas. I think an elephant didn't know that there was a den here. Maybe it knew. And even if he's not in mast, if the elephant smells a carcass or a rotten thing, or hyenas or any predators, it will freak out. And there are two chaps coming down to the hyena den. I'm so confused. And this carcass is not far away from that elephant. Corky moved it to that side, and I don't know how is he going to go and fetch it now. Would you please, I need your help here in identifying these hyenas, because I don't think this is the hyena we saw earlier on. I'm really confused, but let's see. Uncle James saying, I think that's Ribbon. Yeah, she thinks that that's Ribbon, because I saw Ribbon with the left ear. And look at the belly. It means it ate something early this morning. Look at the belly. And the elephant, look at the hyenas and the elephant. They are not more than 40 meters away from each other. And the elephant is facing this direction. Can you hear the cup? Can you hear the cup? Listen to the cup. Look at the posture of that elephant. The ears are opened. And look at these hyenas. Yes, and there are cubs in the den that are making noise. Like, let's wait and see what's going to happen here. If the elephant charges, then that entrance of the This is magic. This elephant is angry. Yeah. This is insane. check this young one is standing its ground. Just go there. It's about my head there. This elephant is crazy. Must I move forward? Let's move forward and quickly look what's happening on the other side. What's that Ellie? Oh, that Ellie's there. He's mad. The Ellie's mad. It's in the bushes there. This Ellie is mad. And worse part, it can smell the hyenas and the carcass. I don't know why that youngster went out of the den. Oh, I don't know what happened there. And this bull is really angry. He's crazy. He's moving away now. He's running there. But you can, it's thick. It's thick. The Ellie is crazy. Oh. What's that, Ellie? Oh, it's there. It's far there. You see it? It's there. It's thick there. Oh, hold on, people. It's bumpy here and it's thick. It's stinky. Let's hope we'll find this action happening. So for now, let's go to Sydney on the bushwalk.
You can see I am still here with these kind of beautiful insects, and I want to demonstrate something here to do with these insects. First, I want to show you this grass. So I have got a very nice piece of grass here. You can see it. So these kind of grasses are the grasses that some of our African tribes are using in order to get hold of the termites, because termites can be a very important food source. A lot of people, until today, they are still depending on termites for survival. So this is what we do. I grew up eating a lot of termites when they're fresh and when they're dry. So what we do is that we take a grass like this and then we put it in the tunnel. So when we put the grass in the tunnel like this, coming out, you will see they bite like this. When they bite, this is the strategy we use in order to get them. So, and then you can see that is close the mouth, and then I just have to eat. So it's not bad. This is something that we eat. We don't even put salt on them, and they are very much nice. We don't only eat these, we also eat the flying ones. And so they taste very nicely when they are fresh, and they are very rich when it comes to things such as the so they are so very nice, and they taste more like it's neutral. It's not bad. So you can see here I've got two. So these insects, this is and they have got, this is nice. This is so very nice, and yeah. So they are so very much nice, and when you are eating them, they eat the soul and everything, and you don't feel it because you don't pick up any scent. So this is so very much nice. This is how we get hold of the termites. Every time you go in there, you find them. So now it means they are just preparing. So I think it is enough now. I must not have to eat a lot, although I know I eat quite a lot of things. So I do eat quite a lot of different insects. So the insects is something that we eat a lot in the areas where I come from. So, but when they are fried, they are so very much nice, the termites. So they're not bad at all. So you can see that those ones that are stuck are still here and here. So now let's go back to Koli and see the elephants, which is still having a snack.
We've managed to follow the elephant until here. We don't know what happened with the hyenas, but we saw a drag mark that was moving away from the den. And we are not far from the border of the reserve to another reserve. And this early bull, it's calm now, it's calm. I think it's sure that the hyenas are gone. The elephants, they don't really like the predators. That's why they freak out when they smell them or when they see them. And I think there are more elephants not far away from this far away from this elephant here, because we had them a few minutes ago. They were shouting. Francis, when elephant had a hyena cub, is it the question? Yes, definitely. If it's a predator, it doesn't matter whether it's small or young or old, because if it smells a predator, definitely it's a threat to an elephant or to a prey. So that's why they freak out and they get mad. And even those tiny little things, the black ones, those cubs in the den, if they come out and there's an elephant, definitely. Remember, an elephant doesn't have mercy. It also killed our dearly young bird, which is a blacksmith lapwing. James' favorite, scoobit. Moment of silence for that. Yes, Emma, it is bad memories for everyone. James is laughing at the back. So, you can see elephants, they don't really... Yes, thank you. Because we really have to have a moment of silence for our loved ones, more especially the ones who have passed on, like our dearly bird. You can see what's happening here. His anger makes him do this morning. This is what they eat, but I think now he's doing this because of him being mad. And they don't really like eating the inner part of the plant. They love eating a bark. As you can see now, they are breaking this tree and eating the outer part of this tree. That's what's tasty for them. And sometimes you will see elephants, they will chew and then they will spit out a ball, and that ball it's mostly the inner part of the tree. Oh, this moment is so crazy. So let me take you up to my friend. He's got something special.
My lion search is going great. So we have actually located the Sausage Tree Pride, but the road we were on, we just couldn't access them from. So I'm going to have to come around and kind of come in. So bear with me while I do that, but we do have them. We can see them. I didn't see the cubs, but they were quite a bit away. So I'm sure they're nestled in amongst them. So I've just got to come around. I saw 4 definitely. I'm not sure about the 5th one. It kind of looked like there could have been. So hopefully they're all there, and hopefully Kinky Tail is there and has been reunited with them. And hopefully also all the cubs are still there, nice and healthy. So it's quite a bit of a detour that we have to take. Judith wants to know whether elephants react the same way to lions as they do to hyenas. Yes, very, very similar. They will both have this detestment towards them and will quite often show aggression. I've seen elephants, I've seen elephants get aggressive towards both lion and hyena. So they do see them as a threat despite how big elephants are. And so they do want to be safe around them. Speak of the devil, and the devil shall appear. Here is a hyena right now, just coming towards us on the road. Hello? What have you been up to for the night? Hunting, maybe? It's been a lot of hyena movements around lately. Joking this way in, Archie? Yeah, cool. So, just trying to figure out the best way to go in here so we can show you the snags. Oh, look, and we've got lion tracks. Oh no, they're buffalo, sorry. That was two buffalo ones kind of swashed on one another, and it looked like a lion foot. So they were hanging out by a little body of water, all nestled up in the grass. And that's something I've noticed over the last couple of days, is when it's colder, they tend to be in long grass together, and then when it gets warmer and warmer, they'll slowly make their way towards the shade of a tree. Now, it's going to be interesting to see whether they have full tums or not as well. Wonder what they have been doing for the night. Indigo Girl is hoping to see the cubs, and I am as well. Well, I haven't actually seen the Sausage Tree cubs yet, so I would absolutely love to spend some time with them. Well, I'm gonna make it there. It's just a bit longer than expected. So while I look for this big thing, I believe Sydney wants to look for some little things.
I have got one of these very famous tree here on the ground. This is called the devil thorn, the one people are using in order to make soap, and they also use it for shampoo. But today I want to show you something else. When I grew up, we were eating this tree a lot, and you don't even have to cook it. It's part of the vegetables. So this tree, if you come and take this, you can take this kind of leaves, the leaves that we use to make soap, you will see. And these leaves that we use to make soap, there's water there that I asked from Rexen. So the thing is, I always like to share with you things to do with survival. But there are some of the trees which can be used in order to treat things such as, in order to do abortion and all this. Those kind of plants, I don't really talk about them because I know people, some can try these things. You see, it's very slimy. You can eat this. You see, it's very much slimy. So this is a very nice vegetable. Look at that. You can see it's so nice and slimy. This is the soap that we are using, but it's not a dangerous soap. It's a neutral soap, and it's a nutritional soap. I'll tell you, don't worry. I'll tell you how it's very much neutral. This is very much neutral, and you can use this as part of the vegetables. It's not bad at all. So this is something that you can do in the bush. So when you are interested to eat vegetables, wild vegetables are there. This is part of the wild vegetables, the devil thorn. Not only used in order to do soap, you can do this. You can also even treat the back pains, and you can also use it in order to treat some of the sexually transmitted disease. You can take the infusion of the roots as well in order to treat a lot of things. I did swallow it. I didn't throw it away. Yeah, this is very much interesting. You can see that the bush is so very much well equipped. No. Senzo, last time when I was doing the heritage, I gave him my stink bugs. He did throw them away, so I don't invite him anymore. He's not trustworthy. And I didn't even see it. I just hear it from the viewers who saw it, who saw him throwing away my stink bugs. Yeah, thank you very much for the water, Rexon. So I'm going to carry on now and see if I can find you something interesting. But before, let me tell you something about this bush. If you look at these trees, you will see the trees, they play a very important role. And not only one part of the tree. Trees play a very significant role both under the ground and above the ground. Above the ground, the tree is serving us with this very nice breathable air. Under the ground, the tree is helping us in order to tighten the soil to avoid erosion. So you can see that these trees, we have to look after them because they are helping us under the ground and above the ground. And above the ground is something that we always consider and forget that under the ground as well, they are playing another very important, significant role. So now, you know, this the plant that I'm chewing, the devil thorn, is even like a chewing gum because the branches, I still have got them and they just keep going very nicely. This is not bad. So here where I am now, if you look at the type of vegetation we are seeing, you can see that it's much more open and there's quite a lot of grass. So if you come to South Africa, you will see that we have got different kinds of biome. So biomes are just very big areas which has got similar climate and kind of animals. So we do have these large ecological areas where some of them are just grass. That is called a grassland. So a grassland looks like this. It doesn't have trees at all, and animals that are occurring by the grassland sometimes can be different from the animals that are occurring here where we are. This is a savanna biome, but where we are, it is much more grassy because it is a disturbed area. So a disturbed area can be as a result of maybe overgrazing, which is maybe caused by overstocking, or else it can be a quarantine. Like here where I am is a quarantine. It means this area was used in order to rehabilitate some of the affected animals before, or when there is a suspicion that animals are sick from something, this is the area. So that is why this area today looks different from the other areas. So now let's quickly go back to Toli, who is still at the Heineken.
What an amazing morning to start the day with. So we are driving along the road here. You know why? Is it on the left? Because we have a drag mark from a hyena carcass. Koki came with a carcass at the den there. Remember that. So the elephants chase the hyenas away, and the elephant is gone. So we are following up on this drag mark. So we are still on it. Hopefully we will find something, because James thought that maybe it's a Kalamba, because that carcass was still fresh. So we have a lot of drag markings here and fresh tracks. So we are backtracking. Oh, even Steve is looking at the drag marks. I think it was Kalamba. So we have to look carefully here because even the lighting is not nice. But I'm suspecting something there. Let me move out a little bit and see whether I'll find something. Nothing, it's just an elephant trunk. You know, they like dragging their trunk. But it came right at the back. And it's somewhere here, so we'll check on this block. We'll move along this road. So hopefully we'll find something. And the action was the best this morning. And it's so great that no one got injured except for that dead little impala. And the boys there, the boys and pretty little girls are safe in the den. Oh, and the tree that the elephant was eating. So hopefully we'll see Kalamba. Maybe she still has a piece of meat. But looking at that carcass, it was a full carcass. I think if it's Kalamba or Tandi, then they lost. Let me stop here. So we have to be extra careful. And in this scenario, we have to rely on this tracks and drag marks. We have to rely on birds, and we have to rely. Maybe if there was a small chunk of meat left here, maybe we'll see a bird of prey just sitting on top of a tree, looking at it. Because you know they have to scout first before they go for a carcass. I'm not alone who's following for a cat. Maybe Pat will be lucky this morning while he's still following.
Well, I'm still making my way over to these sausages. We had a really, really hard drive over here. It was very muddy, very slidey, but we got here in the end. But that sounds very interesting about all these drag marks. I hope you can kind of piece this one together. Now I'm going to move very slowly through here. We are almost near the sausages. It's been a long drive to get here from where we were, and then I saw some, I think, antelope up on the escarpment, and I thought they'd moved away from where they were. I almost lost it. Thought all this driving for nothing. Can you see the march? Not yet, okay. Yes, it is muddy because it has been raining. We had quite a bit of rain last night. It was very relaxing to fall asleep to. The rain on the top of the tents out here in the Mara, it's very easy to fall asleep out here actually. It's so quiet and peaceful. It looks like that's what the sausages were doing as well from when I saw them up on the road. It is thick grass It's a lot grassier than when I was here. When there was just after migration, there was lots of grazers around, lots of wildebeest and zebra. Yes, I do need a tractor, don't I? I need a lawnmower or something to get through here. And it does make spotting the animals a lot harder as well, especially with this red oak grass, because it's such a kind of fawny colour, just like the coat of a lion. It would take me a very long time, everyone, to mow this. But the animals actually do that themselves. So this is just getting difficult again. I'm just following Archie's directions at the moment because I'm a little bit down lower, so I just can't. Cindy, yes, there are definitely warthogs here in the Masai Mara. They are all over the place. They are a lot harder to spot this time of year because of this long grass, but yes, they are everywhere. You see lots of families of them running about. And they actually are such powerful creatures considering how small they are. So most of them you can't even see through this long grass, yet they can get up to 80 to 100 kilograms, which is absolutely dense, very, very dense for an animal, and they have a lot of power and they need that explosive power. So this search I'm going to get it done. It's just taking a little bit longer than expected. So while I complete it, let's go back down to Steve.
Thanks, Paddy. Well, we found a drag mark on the road just coming out of the Mawati into sort of the area where Tlalamba was last seen, and so we're trying to follow up on those tracks. Drag mark, often when a leopard pulls, so when they carry an animal, they'll move like this, almost like a monitor lizard sort of motion with their body, and it's very easy to see the tracks of a leopard in a drag mark generally because they don't have the power that a hyena's got of just running full speed with the carcass dragging behind. But I couldn't find any tracks in that drag mark, and so I was quite certain it was hyenas. And as we were following up, we then heard Holly calling in that drag mark as well, close to the hyena den. So maybe that's the scraps that they were feeding on at some point. I'm not too sure, but pretty sure it's the same drag mark. So we just come to the other side of the Mawati to see if maybe we can find any sign of whoever it might have been who caught whatever it was. Cindy, most certainly I think that it was a hyena that probably stole it from a leopard, or it might have been a hyena making the kill itself. But for them to drag it all the way back normally means that they want to go share it. So Corky, it's something that a matriarch will do. Will take a kill back to the den for her cubs to have some food, or her cub, should I say. But I didn't see the interactions around the den and what they were feeding on. But it was definitely a drag mark. We were very interested to follow. I backtracked it, but didn't find any leopard anywhere. So I'm not sure. I mean, we do know that leopards quite often here will make kills that are maybe a little bit too big for themselves. It happens with Tundi all the time. Hossan, it happened a few times with him as well. And then the marauding hyenas who follow them around are always very lucky to steal. So I'm glad Collie called it in so he didn't have to keep tracking in the opposite direction. That saved us a bit of time. Okay, we're coming around to check the other side of drainage. Towards the eastern side, towards where they were last. North last night, but we're going to check this road down, back down to the Whitey. This is Leadwood Road, and it's an area where sort of Tlalamba, between here and where we were now, is where she's been spending her last couple of weeks, we think. So maybe she's going to be somewhere around, still looking for some more food. I do apologize for any gremlins that seem to be attacking me this morning, everybody. I do apologize. We are back now. We are going to head down south along Ledwood Road in a moment. Lovely morning. Almost wish I'd brought my jacket. So we haven't seen leopards, as you say, leopards stealing or their food being stolen from them. We don't know what goes on. The cover of darkness. I mean, the hyenas are always looking well fed, so I have no doubt that they are following Thandi and Tlalamba around and stealing their food. Tingana does the same. He likes to follow anybody around and steal their food. Uncle Humas as well. This is the road we were on not so long ago when Tingana had that kill who possibly stole it from Thandi, and then the Uncle Humas stole it from the next morning. So kind of a little bit of justice there. But no tracks on this side. Elephants everywhere. Elephants absolutely everywhere. We left those ellies earlier. We tried to follow up to see if there were more of a breeding herd in the drainage, but if there were, we couldn't see them. But there were definitely more elephants there before. Quite incredible how dense the bush can be this time of year. If we lose a herd of elephants trying to find a leopard, it's tricky, tricky stuff. Okay, well, we're going to keep going around this road, see if we can find any tracks of any of the cats on the property. In the meantime, let's go over to Mr. Dung Beetle himself.
Something has been happening here where I am. There is a lot of elephant dungs here, but this one is not that fresh. I can smell it. Yeah, the scent is still very much strong. So there has been an animal here busy dispersing these elephant dungs, but I can promise you it doesn't look like a bird. It looks like something big. So I can see that there is quite a lot of exposure here. Is much better to see. You can see this animal was digging, looking for something there, and there is even more droppings here. Again, you can see there's a hole going there. So this hole has been dug by the dung beetle. Remember, the dung beetles are categorized according to their diet. Every day when we are talking about the parocorporate, the ones that drills a hole and feed from under the ground, this is their hole. Look at that. This is quite a very nice big hole going down in there. So you can see the parocorporate, they feed from underneath the ground, coming up and get the food and take it underneath there. So they can be able to drill nice holes, and this can help when it's raining to absorb water. The reason why I'm saying this animal was big, look at this. You can see this animal was here. It was just sitting against these droppings. So maybe it was something big. The animal I know which is eating the larva of the dung beetles a lot is the honey badger. So the honey badger is the one which normally comes here and dig and get a hold of these balls that are hidden by the telecorporate, crack them and eat the larva. So here I'm suspecting that one of these animals who are interested on this is the one who was here. So it's not nice because by this time is when the dung beetles are laying and trying to multiply. So the dung beetles must be given a chance in order to breed. They must only eat when the eggs are successful. I've got something here that I just saw before I got down there. I have been talking about this for quite a while. Maybe some of you. The dung beetles, yes, they only breed during a certain time of the year. Remember, dung beetles, they are not much active all year round because come dry season, they hide. And then summer season, they come back. So you must check. They do breed by the certain times of the year. You cannot see them during the dry season. So that is why now it's time for them to breed. And some of them are also interesting because they do go and sit under the ground until the eggs are hatched. Some, they only look after the eggs a little bit and then everything hatch when they're not there. So look, here I have got these beautiful fruits. These fruits are coming from the solanum. This is the poisonous apple. They also call it a goat apple. So I have been telling you something about this without having the fruit. To say, if you take this kind of a fruit and you open it, let me just open and show you what is in here. If you take this and open it, if you take this and open it, you will see in there, we are going to see a lot of seeds. Look at that. So this one fruit has got quite a lot of seeds there. And these seeds are medicinally used. So what we do traditionally, where I come from, we take these kind of seeds and we burn them a little bit. When they give out a smoke, we have to inhale that smoke from the mouth. And when we are inhaling the smoke from the mouth, it helps in order to treat those problems which affect the teeth. If you have got rotten teeth, this is the one tree which can be able to help you against that. So they can be able to get rid of those things that decompose the teeth from the mouth. So sometimes you will see us holding a paper and burning it like this. That is how we inhale that smoke, and then the smoke works. You can see how those kind of seeds looks like. So those are medicinal properties in order to chase away those things that decompose the teeth in the mouth. Oh, the millipede was here as well. Everybody is here. Look. Yeah, this is one of those very beautiful, nice plants. Look, we have got. We'll see him coming out. So he's just coming down the termite mound. So look at that. If you look at this animal, you will see that it's using the antennae in order to navigate. Look at that. When the antennae touch something, it turns. Look at that. When the antennae sees something, it turns. This is the millipede. And this is the first dirty millipede I'm seeing. Normally, the millipedes, they are very nice and clean because they do spend much of their time just cleaning themselves. Look at that. The head is moving all the time, and they are using the antennae every time for navigation purposes. So those are very strong sense organs, and he's going very fast. So the millipedes, if you can check here on the sides of their bodies, they do have glands. And these glands, they use them in order to chase the ants, because ants can also predate them. That's why they do coil themselves to avoid ants to get them from the fresh parts, which is underneath their bodies. You can see there is now just trying to check Senzo's shoe, and they can see that no, this is something else, and he's going away now. He's looking very confused. Look at that. Probably he wants to see Senzo's socks. Yeah, so if you tease them, they are going to do what is called, they will mimic the snake movement and go on the side like this, just to confuse their predators, so we don't have to disturb them. Civet is the one who eat the millipede the most. That's why if you look at the droppings for the civets, you will see the segments from the millipede. So now let's quickly go back to Steve. I don't know what Steve is having at the moment.
Thanks, sitters. Well, we're just checking that road. I was going down Leadwood. It's going very, very slowly, and I noticed one of those tins in the tree again that we were all discussing the other day, and I managed to get this story out of Rexon, and apparently it's something that they've figured out with the tin, and they put creosote, just a little bit of creosote in the bottom of the tin. Creosote is a very, very distasteful, smelly sort of tar-like liquid that you sort of treat wooden poles with to prevent them from getting eaten by termites. And for some reason, the elephants leave these little tins alone. They leave the trees alone. It's very interesting. An interesting story about that was when I was a young boy, very, very young, my dad was creosoting the fence in our garden, and obviously a big container creosote, and I thought it was chocolate milk. I came along with a piece of straw and hose pipe, and I sucked it up. I think that explains a lot of the things that have gone on in my mind the last many years. Anyway, my dad immediately hit me on the back, and they took me to get my stomach pumped, but I nearly died. Creosote. It's extremely toxic, and well, I ingested some. I might not even gotten it through past my mouth. I would have realized immediately that is not chocolate milk. Not chocolate milk. The innocence of youth, though, hey? The innocence of youth. Okay, well, we're just heading down this Leadwood access. We did check Cheetah Cutline a moment ago to see if Tunny's tracks came further up than Leadwood itself, and there were none. So it's possible she came up or went into Torchwood or has come this side. So we're just going to have a little look around, see what's happening. So far, nothing to report, but we might also just pop our head in quickly to Chitwa, see what's going on around the dam. I think that'd be quite nice, just to maybe get a couple birds or something. Yeah, a few birds for the morning. Everyone's concerned about my health. Well, I'm on a much better batting wicket these days, everybody. That was when I was very small. Very, very small. Probably as big as the creosote container. Very long time ago. Yeah, if I did it again, well then you can probably check me into some mental asylum. You can all be concerned then, for sure. Any of you ever tasted or smelled creosote? It is horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. Black tar-like substance. Okay, so we'll pop into Chitwa real quick. Ah, there we go. This is what we'll start with, some birding with the Menage en Trois. There they are, the three bateliers that seemingly are hanging out together a lot these days on the same tree. That is the tree that I had my honey badger the first time hanging on. I thought it was a monitor lizard. So there we've got a male on the right, a female, definitely a female in the middle. You see the male's got just the waistcoat, and the female's got the mini skirt and also the bikini top. And now the one on the left looks like possibly a male as well. We saw them fly over earlier, didn't we, Gendre? And there is a nest in a tree just over here. Let me move a little bit further forward. Maybe we can get the nest. It's not something I've ever heard of before. More than two bateliers hanging out together. Because, I mean, it takes 7 years for them to get their breeding plumage. The nest is in the top, sort of the middle of this big knob thorn over here. Oh, sorry, that was a rock. So it can't be a juvenile. Can't be a juvenile. There's the nest just there. Sort of in the middle of the fork of that tree. I'm just going to have a closer look at these bateliers here to get their sex ratio. I think they have been sexed already. There's the nice platform nest done quite deep inside the canopy of the tree. Okay, so yes, it's a male, a female, and the other one at the moment, hard to tell from the side. But very interesting, because it's not the first time they've all been spotted together. They've been seen together for a couple of weeks now. And in my opinion, bateliers are normally extremely territorial. Last year we had them battling quite a lot in this area for territory. And seemingly no one is on the nest. 2 weeks ago or so, I think it was, there was definitely someone on the nest. The buffalo weavers were actually being brave enough to go and steal sticks from the batelier nest while there was an adult in attendance. Quite brave, don't you think? A little red-billed buffalo weaver trying to steal a stick from the nest of these birds. Cindy, you think that's a fancy nest? The platform nests are quite sort of characteristic of your large raptors, large storks that don't really have the ability to do any form of weaving or anything like that. It's just a whole bunch of sticks placed in a platform. And in the case of the Bateleur and the Wahlberg eagle, they both build them quite deep inside the canopy of a tree because they breed this time of year. They breed in our summer months, and so they need to protect themselves from the sun. Whereas a lot of the other raptors will build them right on top of a tree. And due to elephant interaction and elephant activity, lots of the large knobthorn trees that we know of are disappearing, and that's one of the reasons why management in this area are doing these interesting techniques with the tins with creosote. And well, apparently it works. There's a beautiful dead leadwood tree there. So you can definitely see on the right, there's a male on the right just with a sort of shoulder patch, and the female's got the shoulder patch and the white right underneath at the bottom. So it's easy when they're in flight. The male's got much more sort of, well, he's got more black and white, half black, half white under the wing. The female's just got a little bit of an eyeline black streak along the base of her wings. There's an easy way to identify them in flight, but when they are sitting, just remember she wears a miniskirt. So because that's what ladies do. Well, it seems as if Rusty and Holly have swapped out for the morning. Let's go and say good afternoon, or should I say good morning, to Rusty.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me back. We had a very interesting this morning drive. I don't know if any of you, if you're new to it, new logging on. Did you see the encounter between those hyenas and elephant this morning? That elephant bull got a little bit upset. It was a very interesting interaction between the two of them. But we are going to go back and see if we can follow up. That kill, that the impala kill that was dragged into camp, we think, into Jumia Den, we think was killed by Columba sometime last night. So we are just looking around here to see if we can find any sign of her, but it's actually very thick out there. So it's just by chance and luck we might be able to find a track or sign of her. Okay, for all of those who do not know who I am, my name is Rusty. I am new to SafariLive. I'll be carrying on for the next hour and a half, and we are going to see what we can find. Please, if you have any questions, please follow us on Twitter, Twitter, and follow the link on YouTube. I am open to all questions. So, let's see. I'm just going to see if we can head to the Djuma pack, see who's left there, see if they finished that impala kill. And that elephant did scare them quite a bit, and she did drag the kill quite far away. So we'll see. Yes, so am I, yes. It is quite an exciting thing, finding her. And let's see what happens. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, if she's lying 5 meters off this road here, we're not going to be able to see her. If she does happen to climb up the tree, then we might have some luck. So we're going to head to the den site and see who's still around there. That elephant did cause quite a bit of a chaos there. Even a disturbance like that could even lead the pack to leave the den. It was a stressful situation for a lot of the youngsters. But as we left, we did see one of the resident hyenas coming back and lying down. So maybe it actually is something that happens quite often there, but we just don't get to witness it. We just happen to be at the right place at the right time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're going to head over to Sydney on Bushwalk, where he is following up on the little critters.
We found something very interesting again. You can see things are happening, a lot of movement, a lot of branches are being dragged back to the tunnel there. These are the harvester termites. So all this kind of branches, small pieces that we're seeing around here, they were brought here by these kind of termites. So look at that, this is amazing. So these insects are dragging all these things in order to bring under the ground. Look at that. So what I like about these kind of insects is a teamwork. So the team spirit is there and they do look after each other. Look, this another the big one which just came out there now. That's a big worker. Look at that. So that worker just went back now. The one which is milky. The one which is milky normally don't come out when the sun. They don't come out because they're sensitive to the sun. Some of these termites, they were never outside. So they only come out now. A lot, those who are dark in color is the ones who are very much adapted to the sun. So you can see the workers, termites, they've got a huge responsibility because every time they must have to be the one to build nest and they must go and also search for food. So these other ones, the soldiers is the ones who must have to now provide these workers with a lot of safety. Yeah, this is so terrible. There is quite a lot of them, and just look at this amount of work done so far. Look at all these branches here. You can see. Let me just try and pick one to see how they are cutting this. Look at how they are cutting this. It's like they've got a nice cutting machine. Look at that. Look at the edges. So you can see that these kind of insects are well equipped, and they know what they're doing. So here they don't have a coordinator. So the termites, so they are cutting the branches and they're dragging each one of these branches and put it under the ground. So that is amazing. Remember, the termites, they are good farmers. Termites, they can be able to, under the ground, they can be able to farm the fungus, because that is what they eat. They sometimes come out here and drag the material in order to fertilize, to support, to have their farming going nicely under the ground. So these kind of insects, they are very much gifted, and they are so very much social, and they've got quite a lot of care. They care for each other and they care for us because they are contributing towards our survival. So we don't want to disturb them. So now we are leaving them. We'll find something else. So you can hear the francolins are making noise at the moment. I can hear not very far. Maybe something has been spotted there, unless they are just complaining about our presence in the area at the moment. Oh. So that was... Rosita, the chameleon dance, I will do it. Don't worry. Just keep watching Safari Live. You will see I'm going to come back anytime soon. I will be coming. My next walk, maybe I will be having something for you. So I'm just trying. I heard... So the weather is not very bad, but remember, some of these reptiles, when the weather is like this, they are not that very much active. But today, yes, it's overcast, but it's not cold. So chances of the movement of some of the reptiles, they are very much high. So the chameleons are so beautiful. I love those animals. So there are some elephants who are just keep trumpeting here somewhere this side, happy somewhere much more towards the eastern side. So now let's go back to Steve, who is by the Chitwa.
Well, welcome to Chitwa. Chitwa, we have just pulled up onto the dam wall. Let's have a little look, see what we can find. We haven't yet even scanned the water, so let's see what is in attendance. No doubt there are some hippos, some Egyptian geese, waterbuck, as well as a saddle-billed stork. Beautiful, beautiful. And the very nice sound of someone cutting the lawn, which is a great way to start the day. Hippos are about to shout and say good morning, everybody. There go the waterbuck. They have lawn mowers of themselves. Well, you know, you get lots of people around camps that will keep lawn cut, keep it low down due to a sort of fire management risks, as well as just sort of grass growing in and around the lodge. We had to cut some lawn around our camp the other day. See, Hippo agrees, due to the fact that walking to and from our new rooms was almost impossible because the grass was so long. And, well, we know snakes like to hide in the long grass, so quite often you'll have lawn cut close to camp. You don't have hippos coming in to mow it for you, so rather using a lawnmower or a weed eater from time to time, just to keep it short so that you don't have to employ hippos to come and do it. And here we have the Egyptian goose family with 2 goslings. They're a little bit upset with something this morning. Not quite sure what it is. Ah, there we go. There's a raptor above. Looks like a Wahlberg's. He's come in from the top. Everybody saw him coming. No stealth at all there. Okay, well, on a happier note for some and a not so happy note for others, let's go up to Patricia in the Masai Mara, who'd like to tell you something.
No happy notes here. I've done it, guys. I've joined the Marshmallow Club. So we were out here looking for the Sausage Tree Pride, who, I mean, should literally be right here, which is where we saw them last, and I can't see them move off. But anyway, we were coming across a road. We were coming along a road which is actually quite fine. There's nothing wrong with this road. It's quite an easy road to go along. But what happened was a little fresh termite mound popped up just in front of me, and I veered just a little bit. And then they caught the edge of this lager here, and really there was no coming back from that. So Archie and I tried desperately to get ourselves out and try and save a disaster, but we've had to call for help. So I know you're all going to do your screenshots with the crown and all that, so I may as well pose for it and at least look good. So now we're about half an hour or so from camp, and we are waiting on one of our saviours to come get us. And so there's nothing I can really, nothing I can even really show you from where we're stuck right now. I just want to know where those sausages got to. Well, I'm going to stay here and enjoy the sights and the sounds. May as well make hay while the sun's shining. I'll send you back down to Steve with the hyenas.
Okay, we're back at the hyena den on Juma. This is not the same elephant behind the tree just to the left of there. You can see the head popping out. There just seems to be a couple of rogue bulls coming through here at this time. But this one's not paying actually too much attention to the hyenas. We don't see any of the cubs out at the moment. It's just what we believe might be ribbon, but I am quite happy to take anyone else's advice online. Yeah. They're not the easiest ones to identify, but the ear notches might be able to give it away. But that is the most comfortable. That looks really uncomfortable, actually. It looks like me after supper on most nights. Yeah, that's called a food baby. A very impressive food baby. Now, the kill that was dragged here earlier... The kill that was dragged here earlier was of remained... Oh, there's actually quite a few elephants moving in the background. But they don't seem to be paying attention to the den site. They're just minding their own business, which is fine. We're happy with that. Yeah, so what we believed was that kill that was dragged here, we believe might have belonged to... pronounce the name well properly now. Talamba. I'll get the pronunciation right one day. But we've driven around the block. We found the drag mark from the hyena that brought it in this morning. Now we followed the drag mark for quite a while. We followed the drag mark around on the road here. We followed it for about a kilometre, maybe a kilometre and a half, but it disappeared off into one of the blocks. So, judging by this hyena's barely content, and the others that came in earlier, that impala pretty much, I think, was found whole. Sorry, was it Robert or Gromit? Ramit. It's a bit of both. Ramit, do you think Talamba was scared away by the hyenas? Ramit, do you think the Talamba was scared away by the hyenas? It is a very high possibility. She is a young leopard, so these hyenas can be very intimidating, and the hyenas do follow the leopards around. They don't have to follow very close, but they can obviously got a very good sense of smell and hearing and sight, so they'll follow quite far behind, or even quite up close. So once she does decide to kill something, she has very little chance of actually protecting that kill. If she can't get it up at a tree in time, then the hyenas will steal it from her. So this is what we pretty much, or what I believe might have happened, is if she did kill it, these hyenas must have grabbed it within seconds of her killing it and chased her off. She has no chance against more than one hyena without getting that leopard up a tree, that impala up a tree. So if she didn't succeed last night, she might have carried on hunting this morning. Well, we didn't find any tracks coming in and out. We did have alarm calls of some of the spurfowl and francolin in the block, and other birds that will sometimes give it away where some predators are. But we looked around in the area and we couldn't find anything. We might have guessed that she might have followed the hyena tracks back, because the drag mark is quite obvious and there's still quite a lot of smell left on the road. But so far, no luck. But yeah, I don't think she had any chance of feeding on that impala. These hyenas are very full. Very full. Yeah. So she is looking very content here. We're going to head over to Steve and some impala.
Well, everybody, this is what a live impala looks like. So if we confirmed that it was an impala carcass that was dragged all the way there, it's hard to tell really by the drag mark. I had a feeling whatever it was quite hairy. I thought it may be a nyala for a moment because of the lines in the sand, but it's very hard to tell really from a drag mark. All I can say is it was a decent sized animal. Very nice, but probably maybe Talamba killed it, maybe Tundi did. We didn't find any tracks of either of them in that area, so it's very hard to say. What we do know is that someone stole something from someone and dragged it back to the den site, which is marvellous. So we found some impala this morning, and we're just following up to see maybe if there are some wild dogs around here. They have been for the last week or so, spending a bit of time on Chitwa. But they do come and go. Just paying attention to these impalas' behavior. They're a little bit jumpy. Could be because there's leopards in the area. Could be because the dogs were here yesterday. But what are they looking at over there? We're going to go and investigate in a moment. A small little family unit of females. There's 1 or 2 young males in there. Now, you know as soon as the rutting season starts when those 1-year-old males get pushed away. Annette, you love seeing impala. They are a very pretty animal. They are the most abundant of all the herbivores in the Kruger Park, and they often get overlooked by many, many people. But they are very pretty. They're very elegant. There's so many things about them that are what make them successful that you can only just bow your head, in fact. I can't ever be upset that there's lots of impala. They are so important. They are a huge buffer food species. They take away the pressure of all the other animals. And even with huge predator numbers, even when they culled impala many years ago, they weren't able to do anything to the population because their growth rate is so exponentially high. But impala, as we have discussed many times before, probably a bigger one, well, an even bigger influence on the re-establishment of a lot of the vegetation out here. Elephants push the trees over, as we know, but impalas prevent the recruitment from happening. Any baby trees that sort of get to that height of 1 meter or 2 and don't get past that height. What are they looking at? Definitely something happening up ahead here, isn't there? I think we're going to move forward a little bit. I can't see anything. Impala might have spotted a wild dog. They might have spotted a leopard. They're not showing any sort of warning signs in the snorting, but maybe they've spotted something. There's a wildebeest sitting over there. Really? Is that how you're behaving to a wildebeest, guys? Maybe they're looking at the male impala that are over here, starting to get their rut on. Emma, where have you been? Emma hasn't been directing for a few weeks, and she's got these little one-liners that are always very funny. She says maybe it's a very shady wildebeest, and indeed it is. There he is. You see, the thing is he's lying down, so he's kind of hiding. So every now and again the impala just see this. Of course, Emma, of course. So he's sitting down, and the impala probably keep looking over and seeing, what is that thing that's trying to hide from us? This is exactly where we had the wild dogs last week with myself. We were sort of playing around with some zebra. A very nice open area here around Chitwa Airstrip. Very similar to the open area by Djuma called Quarantine. A lot of these measures are put in place to create habitat for these more open animals, such as zebra and wildebeest, because of the influx of overgrazing. And it's led to sort of areas becoming very dense and loss of habitat for wildebeest and zebra alike. But anyway, let's go back over to the dung beetle man himself and see if he's prepared to do his chameleon dance.
I have got something here in order to show you. I am busy here designing myself a very nice hat. This is what I used to do when I was still very young, looking after the cows. When it's too hot, this is what we have been taught. You can design a very nice cap from this. You will see it's going to be a very lovely cap. It will even be better than the one I've got now. So I must have to measure my head. I'm going to put this on the side that I'm sure you can still hear me. So I'm just going to measure. I think, I think now I am here. Here I'm at the last one. Yeah, so now you are going to see here I measured my head, so it means this is where I must have to get it. So look, if you look here at the size of this You see, this is the size of my head, but I'm still going to close it on top as well. I'm just going to put it here a little bit so that you can see how it's going to be like. So I'm going to add and even have the cap on it. So just wait a little bit until I finish. So I'm going to finish it now. You won't believe. So now I'm going to do the top part. When I'm doing the top part, I'm using these very long thorns, you see, like this. So these thorns are the ones that I use in order to close this. You can see there how I pin them. And then I'm going to have... So while I am trying to finish this beautiful hat, let's go back to Rusty with the hyenas.
Okay, very little movement here. I don't think anyone anywhere will move with a belly that big. We've just had who we believed was June also walk past with also a belly probably even bigger than that. I have the food sweats just watching them. I'm a little bit envious as well. But yes, content. That is a perfection. Picture perfect. Contentment there. Oh, so relaxed. We still have not had any sign of anything entering or exiting the den. But when we were here earlier with the interaction between the elephants and hyenas, we did hear who we believe were her cubs back in the den side. It's a very young noise they make. I am very bad at imitating it, so I will save you the earache. But yeah, the sun is starting to break through. I actually put on my jacket earlier, and now I'm actually regretting it. Yeah, she is very exposed to the sun there. She will move over. Oh, look at that belly. You want to rub it? Louis, that's a good question. Is that a healthy size belly for a hyena? Hyenas don't have the ability, or they do have an ability to stop eating, but they do have this interest, they have this huge appetite that they just consume as much as they can as quickly as possible, and then they go feel sorry for themselves later. So that is actually a very normal size belly after an animal, hyena that's just eaten a lot. So no, there's no need to be concerned there. If you come back by this afternoon, it's probably going to be either a lot of gas released and a few times to the toilet, and you'll see that belly shrink away very quickly. It's just obviously with the amount of predators around here and competition, the hyenas eat as much as they can and as quickly as possible. And then they go digest. Yeah. Ellie, how do you tell the difference between a full belly and a pregnant belly? A pregnant belly, especially, okay, if you're looking at lying down a hyena like this, this is a very obvious sign of a full belly of food, because it actually sticks out on either, like quite high up. As when it's more pregnant, it's more, I don't know how to explain, more forward. It actually hangs on the ground. This is actually protruding from the sides. A pregnant belly is more forward, and by this stage, if this is a pregnant female of that size, you'll probably see her. She'll be probably lactating at this time, so you'll see the mammary glands will be quite swollen. But yes, it is quite difficult. But what I've seen, what I've noticed, it's more the belly sticks out underneath the animal than from the side of the animal. So, yeah, as far as I'm aware, she is not pregnant. Okay. Oh, she's got the meat sweats going. Okay, we're going to head over to Steve. Steve, who has some impala rutting.
Of course, as soon as you capture us, there we go. They're having a little bit of a sparring session, these two. Not very violent at the moment, but they are starting to sort of play around. They see the size of that impala's neck. Let me move forward. It's not very big at the moment. They've still got a lot of work to do, a lot of testosterone to build up. I heard one thrashing a moment ago. The branch is just next to us, yeah? We actually stopped for this herd zebra that has also disappeared into the thickets, followed now by all the impalas. So let's go around. Maybe we'll get to see them again. Also tracks of a male leopard just before heading down to where we were parked. It's possibly that's why all the animals have been relatively skittish, a little bit jumpy. There we go. Is that all right for you, Chandre? Nice open area for all these impala and the zebras. These areas are maintained by management as open areas. Process called bush clearing. It's all important due to the fact that water has been provided in and around the Kruger Park. There was once a very natural westerly migration, which was thwarted in the 1940s, 1950s with the erection of a veterinary fence to prevent the wildlife from crossing west and spreading disease to the sort of agricultural animals to the west. And there's higher rainfall towards the escarpment in the west and also very good forage. Animals used to naturally move in that direction, and since they stopped doing that, the fence was put up, animals started getting a little bit sort of trapped and confused. They had to provide water, and from the 60s until now there was a rapid, drastic increase in the density of the vegetation, and there was not as many impala back in those days as there are now, all due to the change in the environment, because with water being provided, animals stayed in an area. Animals like wildebeest and zebra that normally would have left, and they would have removed a lot of the permanent, or should I say the perennial vegetation that was only fed upon seasonally. It's now fed upon all the time, so it leads to overgrazing, it leads to bush density, and that increases impala numbers. There also weren't that many elephants in parts of the Kruger back in those days, but a lot of that had to do with the rampant ivory trade. But with the elephants and with the impalas, huge influence on the vegetation. Hello, Sol. Well, impalas are pretty much the standard food for most of your predators. Obviously, lions will enjoy zebra, wildebeest, or buffalo because they're much bigger. But impala do form a huge proportion of the diet of lions, huge proportion. Leopards feed on more impala than any other animal, and wild dog will feed on lots of impala, but then also duiker and steenbok. Cheetah as well will feed on impala, but then they can also go for baby wildebeest, baby zebra. But definitely impala forms the #1 food source, even for the likes of martial eagles in the baby form, and even rock pythons, and even big male baboons are known to feed on impala when they're in the early stages of lambing. But right now, they're all enjoying being out in the open, enjoying the grazing, because impala, although they are mixed feeders, will feed on as much grass as they possibly can, especially when it is new and fresh. Okay, well, it sounds like the hyena den is an absolute hive of activity this morning. Let's go over to Rusty and discuss his thoughts about hyenas and elephants.
Well, it's spa day. I think when you have a belly the size of what she does, the next best thing is a spa. And somebody's coming to rub her back. Massage therapist. Comes in all shapes and sizes these days. Multi-purpose. Yeah, I expected her to move out. I don't think she's going to be too comfortable when he joins her. Look at that belly. Oh, the sympathy. It can't even actually walk straight. No. So hyenas actually are big fans of water, especially shallow pools where we've just seen her come out of. Especially with a belly like that, her temperature must be quite high, so the best way to cool off is trying to find a pan. The elephant actually just spotted her on the corner of the eye and also just gave her a bit of a wary glance and moved off. I'm not sure. The gland is running, so I think they might have had another altercation while we were away looking for the drag mark. No, not at all. I am definitely not one for that. Especially the steam rooms. Okay. Nope. We've lost sight of them. We're still gonna. I will just go around and see if I can find. Let's go to the gym. Chris, yes, June. The question is, June does look very full. That is very impressive. She's got quite a belly on it. We're just going to follow her up and see if she lures the cubs out of the den. It's actually quite ideal. They've actually got, the den is right here and they've got like the pool in the backyard. Not a lot of people can say that. Sometimes they do have to share with unwanted visitors. But with a lot of rules and regulations going up, they don't exactly put a fence around it. There she is. Okay. We're just going to hang around with them for a while longer. We're going to pass you on to Sydney, who is making a hat. Please take a picture of that.
You can see that now. I'm just about to finish. Look at the interior now. You can see how this thing looks like by the inside. So I'm just about to finish. Let me just try to weigh it again a little bit here. I'm going to finish it anytime soon. So you can see that I am designing something which is very good looking. So in a very short space I'll be done. So I'm not done yet. So but it's looking good, I'm sure. So you can see the little tassel at the back. Yeah, no, I'm just about to finish. You can see now I'm going to just seal it for the last time here. And you can see how I'm doing this. I'm using these stones. And these stones, I have to face them in, out, in, and the last part must have to be outside. So you can see how this is done to make sure that this thing, it doesn't hurt me inside. So it must have to, at the end, come out like this. So you can see all these stones, they are facing outside. Laura, it is indeed a bush fashion, but now I must have to decide to design a nice cap. So I must have to get some of these big leaves, broad leaves, in order to design a cap. So a cap is very much simple to design. All I've got to do is to do this. Yes, I've got to avoid certain type of leaves by these trees. So because now I'm going to do the cap, I must have to put that head down. So I must have to avoid, because some of the trees, yes, they can be itchy. Like, for example, the stinging nettle. I can't use that one. I can't use the stinging nettle. I can't use the stinging nettle in order to make a cap. That one can be very dangerous. I am going to be very much careful for the hungry giraffe. Thank you. That's a nice one. So I have to be very careful on these animals. So now you can see I'm just about to finish. So you're not going to believe. You're not going to believe this is done right here now. is done live. So you can see that I can design the bush-related things a lot, eh? But I'm not good as birds, you know. Birds can weave. I'm going to make a very nice vest. You will see that in future I'll do that. Yeah, I'm going to have my cap here. So I'm going to have my cap here. So now I'm going to have to use very long thorns so that they can stick the cap here against this nice hat. No, it's difficult to use it as a weapon because the thorns that I'm having here, they can also be a problem to me, so I can't use this as a weapon. Unfortunately, I can't use it as a weapon. Otherwise, the thorns are going to affect me as well. So you will see now that I'm going to have a very nice, good-looking cap. So there is quite a lot of things we can make from these leaves. There is quite a lot of things we can design from the leaves. We can not only make these caps. Some other people can use this in order to have the different lovely things. Yeah, now I'm just about to finish. I'm left with a little bit of leaves to put on here so that I can just enlarge my cap a little bit. So I am done now. So in less than 2 minutes I'll be done. So I can see Rexon is giving me a lot of thorns there. I'm selling it. I am selling it. You can order it. Yeah, I'm done now. Now I'm going to wear it. So this is my bush cap. This is my bush cap. So you can see that the bush cap looks very much nice. So when I am in the bush, when it's too hot, this is what I must wear. So I've got a very special cap for today. So I'll be having my cap here with me, and hopefully we are going to talk to each other. I'm very sure you're going to hear me very nicely. So you can see that it doesn't take long in order to design something beautiful and nice like this. Senzo is laughing about this. You can see this. So now let's go back to Rusty with the hyena.
One of the youngsters have decided to come out. We believe it might be Pretty's daughter. Ooh. And that we believe might be Ribbon. But please, if you do know the viewers online, yeah, Crystal did mention that this is Ribbon. Coming into focus. But yeah, she hasn't moved. That's as much movement as she's done since we've been here. So we did have June. She's left her spa. She came to join the den here, but she's disappeared again off to the right. That's where the young sister's gone to join her, but she's disappeared around the tree. We can't maneuver without disturbing. Louis, can hyenas swim? They actually do swim very well, but they don't often go further than the shallow end. As soon as their feet leave the ground, they will get a bit worried. I've seen them swim from an island or from the main bank to an island in a very large lake in Kariba. Even with the lake is very infested with crocodiles. Obviously, it's all opportunity because what I believed was a water bucket died on the island and it attracted a lot of hyenas to the shoreline, and the lake was very low. But they managed to swim across. I think it's just they're not going to do it by choice. They do it for the necessary concept. If they need it for obviously food. Food is the biggest drive to survive. And if they aren't able to hunt very well or unable to make a kill that night, then they will scavenge. That's interesting. Clean the mouths. It's a very, very close family bond here. Oh, just remains of the kill last night. Yum. Everyone's enjoying this. The interaction. I agree with all of you. It's actually a lot more calmer here than it was this morning. I can't see them running around for much longer with these bellies. And we still haven't seen where the rest of the carcass went. I'm pretty sure it's finished off now. With only one cub out the den, we're not sure. At least 2 cubs ran off with the rest of the carcass when the elephants chased them off. But we're not too sure who returned while we were away. All those eyes are shutting. I think in the next minute or so, I think you're going to see her collapse. Okay, there's a lot of mutual grooming going on, or one-way grooming here. Okay, we're going to hand you back to Sydney, and he is still perfecting his cap, or hat.
So we are here, we're still looking for the interesting, lovely animals, and I'm just going to go deep in the thick bushes here to see if we can find something. I'm disappointed, no dung beetles yet, since yesterday. What's wrong with the dung beetles in the area? Lots of fresh droppings, but no dung beetles. You see this plant here? This is one of those plants, some of the insects come here and bite the branches so that they can use the tree in order to have their eggs. So there is some of the insects called the goldmage. The goldmage is an insect which normally come and bite the tree, and the tree react by releasing a growth hormone. That growth hormone will develop a gall. Inside the gall is where the insect is going to lay the eggs. The name of the tree is the silver cluster leaf. So you can see these leaves are much more silver. So I just want to quickly check this side here. I saw my game scout spotted something. Oh, he was just showing me that there is a better silver cluster leaf here, which is much more silver for us to see. Yeah, yesterday the weather was not that very bad, but today, yes, when it's overcast, dung beetles, they do battle a lot when it comes to flying, because when the dung beetles when the weather is overcast, the dung beetles cannot fly properly, because for them to fly, they normally put the sun on the side of their bodies. So when it's 12 o'clock, when it's sunny, they also experience problems. Also when the sun is at the horizon. So dung beetles do experience problems when it's overcast. That is true. But I'm still hoping to see them. I must be lucky and just see one. Sarah, I didn't copy your question very nicely. So, Senzo just repeated the question for me. Rex, I will have to do him a nice and big one. When I come back again for a guided walk, I will make him one. It's a promise. It's a promise. So here I have got this lovely tree growing from a termite mound. So this is called a sickle bush. A sickle bush is one of those trees you can come and eat the leaves, but you don't have to swallow them. You can eat these leaves in order to relieve the hangover. So the leaves, they've got a very strong taste. I have tasted it before. I have tested it. Oh, look here, there's a spider here. Oh, the spider is right here. Look at that. This is a beautiful spider. You know, the spiders has got something interesting. I know a lot of people, they only see the mammals nursing their little ones with milk. But spiders, they also do feed their spiderlings with milk. Yes, spiders don't have mammary glands, but they do give their spiderlings some milk. They just eject the milk, and the little ones, they come and have the droplets, which is amazing. So especially the jumping spiders, they do that. So don't get surprised when seeing the spiders feeding the little ones with some milk. So that milk also is rich in terms of fat content. So you can see there that there is a very nice web. The web is used there in order to catch their prey. So let's go back to Rusty with the hyena cubs.
Hyenas, not quite, but yes, we do have hyenas to the right of us, but right now we have a very large elephant approaching. It just seems to be an elephant-hyena day around here. I think the hyenas would rather choose different neighbors, but they don't have a say in this matter. We're just going to keep a close eye on him. He might be a little bit... He is quite a bit in must. Oh, there's close and there's close. Oh, there we go. He's going to give us a wide berth. We just had to, duck my head. Past our hyena den, and he stops right there. Yeah. To describe how close he is, I can almost taste him. Well, with the wind blowing right into us doesn't help. He is full in must. Now, he doesn't seem to be showing much. He doesn't seem to be showing much attention to us, but I don't want to give him any reason to. So we're just going to keep it very quiet. There is Pretty's daughter watching from the den. I think she's just going to jump straight back into the hole if it does turn around. But yeah, you can definitely taste it. Louis, do elephants and hyenas interact regularly? I think they do, but at a particular den site, not really. I think it's just a day where the elephants happen to be passing here. But I think out when they naturally just are scavenging or roaming around to hunt, I think they do come across them quite often. But because around here, earlier on with the kill that was dragged here, the dead impala, that smell, also elephants have a very sensitive sense of smell, so they're a bit triggered by that. So it was a bit upsetting, and there was a lot more interaction with cubs running around trying to eat and other parents chasing off the other kids from the kill. So there was a lot more noise and involvement with the elephants, so it just didn't work very well. But generally, they just give each other space and they get on with their day. Like right now, this bull, I think, has no intention to do any harm to the hyenas. He just happens to be coming past here to feed. Curiosity. Hey, girl. Oh, getting close. Yep. Oh, if I can, yeah, the viewers are wondering if the hyenas can, if the elephants, for the hyenas, if the hyenas can smell the elephant, I can promise you, if I can almost taste it, was that close? These hyenas, they can smell it. They can smell very well. Okay, the hyenas have disappeared from the den. The little girl's gone back into the hole, and the bull has moved off. So we're just going to wait here for a bit longer and see if they come back out the hole. I know the two have gone off, probably back to the spa. And yes, I'm trying to get rid of the smell now. Now, has anyone ever been around the smell of elephant musk? It is very, very... It smells like rotten, very rotten, not flesh like rotten flesh, more like rotten, very rotten, like a compost heap. A fresh compost heap where it's just, the smell just lingers. It's designed like that, so obviously all the others can know what condition that animal's in. But I've got James in the background saying, what if it smells like a bit of a horse? It's like, no. Horse smells, I think I'm so tuned into the horse smell now. I quite like the smell of horse smell because I've been around it for many years. But that smell, that smell is unique. But we're just going to go drive around, see if we can find the adults. The youngsters have ducked into the hole. And we don't have to go far because the swimming pool is just around the back here. Okay, we are going to go on to Steve, who will explain his version of the smell of must. Okay.
Elephants smell like elephant must. I didn't get all of them. I think we lost a few communication issues there. Was it the must? Must. Very pungent. I understand what he's saying. If you've ever got a compost heap that you haven't turned over, one that's sort of really starting to ferment inside, and you turn it over, it smells.
It's back on spa day. I think they extended for another 2 hours. I actually don't envy them today, but when they have bellies that full, I think the best thing is to do is let the water carry the weight. I mean, check that. That is bliss. Oh. And yeah, we pay a lot of money to be able to do something like that. And yeah. Now all they need is a bit of a face mask, cucumbers, and we're good to go. So, we have, it's June and ribbon, I believe. Just looking at the tops of them, you can see the ears. Ribbon's the one closer to us and June's at the back. Look at that. Spider. Romit, does the temperature change when they have a full belly? If it's anything to do with us, I believe so, like us. When we eat, most of our blood supply goes to the stomach to help it digest, and obviously your body temperature goes up when you're full. I've noticed it with myself. I'm sure other people do the same. And with hyenas, with that much food in them, that's extreme amount of food. Not just like it's like a 200-gram steak that we eat and we feel full. They've eaten a good couple of kgs there. So yes, their digestive system is working overtime. So their temperature, body core temperature, will increase. Not by much. We're talking about 2 or 3 degrees. Actually, probably about 3 degrees. So yes, that's a lot for a hyena, especially with a hyena that moves around a lot, covers a lot of distance, so its body temperature is already quite high. So yes, now the cooling off helps with the digestion, and it's actually making it more comfortable lying in the water. Because it's not a hot day, there is a cool breeze coming and there is cloud cover. So they wouldn't usually lie like this unless they are warm or feeling difficult or feeling uncomfortable with that amount of food in them. Yeah, they're always keeping aware of. Their heads come up and down. There's still quite a few bull elephants around here. We're just waiting for the next one to pop out any time. Double dash. With all the babysitting they do need a good mud bath. I think if you know most mothers out there, when they have to look after kids for months, weeks, years on end, and when the grandparents come to visit or they hire a nanny, then yes, I think the first thing they do is go to the spa. Either get their nails done, hair done, or just relax. But yeah, they're not far from the den, so I think if anything goes wrong, they will be able to help out. They're within earshot, so if any cubs let out any noise, they'll be there in a few seconds, depending on what the problem is. But with these bellies, they're not going anywhere today. Anyway, I think they're just going to go from the watering, from their backyard pool, back to the den site. So, we're going to head over to Sydney, who is on walk.
Look at the type of grass I'm having here. If we can take these grasses and combine them like this, you can see they form a very nice blanket. So this kind of grass is called a Natal red top. So the Natal red top is recommended by quite a lot of birds. The birds such as the mannequin and other nesting birds, they normally come and take this in order to build a nest. They put this inside the nest in order to create warmth. Look at this. This is nice and warm. It smells very nicely. It doesn't smell bad at all. It's neutral. So the birds are using this in order to create a blanket in the nest. So these birds, they use the other type of grasses to use in order to make the outer layer of the nest, and inside they are going to put blankets. So that is amazing. So remember, the birds' males, they must have to try by all means and build something nice and make it proper in order to convince the female for mating purposes. So it's a good idea to bring this so that they can be able to explain during winter you'll be safe. This nest has got a very nice blanket. So come join me. Some, for the proposals, they even go and fetch some of the food. Come and give the females to try and convince them. Sarah, it is indeed looking very much comfortable and it's nice and warm. I could feel that. And still no sign of the dung beetles. We do eat grass. Let me tell you something, Kalina. You know, we eat grass, and most of us, we eat grass every day. It's just that we don't realize we are eating grass. grass was the first thing to be cultivated 2,000 years ago. If you can check anything which has got the following, I'm going to show you now. Anything which has got this, anything which has got this and that, this is called a node and internode, is grass. If you look at the sugar cane, it's grass. We eat sugar canes. If you look at the maize, it's grass. If you look at rice, it's grass. Wheat is grass. So it means bread we are eating every day, rice and maize is grass. And don't forget sorghum. Sorghum, which makes beer, is grass. We eat grass, we drink grass, we get drunk from grasses. So you can see that the grasses you can see that the grasses are very much important. We need them. So it's just that we eat the processed grasses. Animals, they eat raw grasses. Oh, one of those. To those viewers who are new, the viewers who have just joined us now, this is my heart. I'm going to take it off for you to see. It's a heart that I've just designed not long time ago. This is the internal part of the heart. All the thorns there are facing upwards and downwards, and on top you can see they are also facing frontwards and backwards so that they don't hurt me. So this is how we design a bush hat. When I was looking after the cattle and goats when I was still young in the bush, this is what we used to wear. So now I've got something again. This is beautiful. This looks like a mag wheel. You can see inside there how beautiful this is like. So I'm going to eat a little bit. So what I'm touching now is called petals. Petals are those bright colors from these which are there to attract the pollinators. So this is edible. So I'm going to make it simple. I'm gonna have to, I don't want to cut it. I'm just gonna trim it. So you can see that it is nicely trimmed there. I don't want to take the whole leaf because otherwise I will disturb. But now it can still breed when that is eaten. It can still bear the fruits because the important part is the stigma and the style which is there by that filament part of the flower. Yes, the petals only serve one purpose. The petals only serve one purpose, which is to attract the insects to come and pollinate. So if you take that part where I was eating, you don't affect, because if you look there, the anther and the filament, it is still there, which are the important part coming from the stigma in order to fertilize. So the reproduction of plants is so very much interesting as well. The plants cannot move and look for the partners. Yeah, Joy, the plants, the fertilization on them is interesting because plants cannot go and look for the partners. So the insects and everything must have to mix the plants. They must have to combine them. So the plants, in other words, they do meet through these other contributors, such as the insects. So they can't go and visit each other for reproduction purposes. They have to be facilitated by the other insects. So I'm just passing by the estate here. You can see the estate has got quite a lot of entrances. Let's go to Rusty with the hiders. Hey, it's windy.
Lazy or content? Choose your words. I think they look more content. For them to be wandering all night, this is their break. There's no need to go anywhere. There's no need to do anything. The kids are home, locked away. This is bliss. R. Lara Moore. Do lions take the opportunity to hassle the hyenas when they are this full? They're not going to do it by choice. If our lions happen to be passing through this area, hopefully the hyenas will pick up on their scent or the audio or the sound they make. The hyenas got a very good hearing, so if the lions are in the area, the hyenas should be aware, but yes, surprises do happen. And if they are aware, you'll find the hyenas moving off very quickly because they know they can be quite vulnerable, especially when they're this asleep and relaxed and this full. But surprisingly, they can move very, very quickly when they're this full. So yes, I wouldn't say the lions will take the opportunity to, but if they are around and they find that hyenas are in either got competition, then so be it. I'm actually very tempted to go over. I don't know if you can see those little lumps sticking off the ears. Those are ticks. Ticks are not anybody's favorite insects, and why they actually exist in this world still beats me. But yes, they are sucking. It's actually a very, very common spot to find ticks. It's not easy for them to groom themselves there, and they can't exactly point to it and tell one of the youngsters to help it. So yeah, they have found a very, very succulent spot on that hyena. As with all animals, even with us, your ears have a lot of blood flowing through them and very thin-skinned. So, and because it's very hard to actually get there, they can scratch with their hind legs. Have you seen dogs do it? Hyenas do the same. But those are buried in very well. I think all of them are probably in a few cycles. Some of them actually might be full of eggs now. Now they're just filling up with blood and they'll drop off in a few days' time. It's a very ongoing process with the ticks. But it's actually in a very good health. I didn't get the name. Okay. Some of you are wondering if the mud baths help to get the parasites or ticks off. I'm pretty sure it does play a role in helping to reduce the number. But since the ticks are attached to the blood veins and arteries or blood veins, they don't seem to suffocate as easily underwater because hyenas don't stay in there long enough. If you keep a hyena underwater maybe for 24 hours, you'll find the ticks coming off quite easily and all the other mites and parasites it might have. But yes, it does help to reduce the number of parasites, but doesn't get rid of them completely. Right now, they're just using the water as a cooling system and more of a comfort than a parasite removal process. You'll see, look, the hyena is in brilliant condition. It's not mangy, it's got all of its hair. Hyenas aren't the prettiest of animals at the best of times, but they are still very beautiful to a lot of us who hang with them. So yes, the ticks, you'll notice if a hyena loses condition very quickly, it could also mean the ticks are not helping. Okay, John's got an interesting question. Why aren't the cubs not joining them? For the younger cubs, it's too far away to go from the den site. They've already fed this morning, so there's a very high possibility they are sleeping now. But they're very exposed if they come all the way down here. The older of the cubs, they're obviously wandering more afield, but they have no need of yet to go wallowing. I'm sure if it's like earlier on in the morning and the parents came straight here, then you'll probably find the older ones will come and join them. But I think it's more of a learned behavior to go wallow in the mud than something that they choose to do right off. Yeah, it's like I said, we're not far from the den site, and this ribbon is actually keeping an eye out. She's listening to everything that moves around. Mario. That's the question of being how bad do hyenas smell? How bad does wet hyena smell? Oh, there's another. Oh, she's gonna make a move. Hyena. Well, just hold on. Let me just lean out and see if I can smell them. I wouldn't say not bad at all. I suppose if you get like a wet dog for long periods of time, it might create a bit of a smell. Hyenas are very clean animals in most part. They do keep themselves very clean, although they do dig into rotten meat and a lot of weird places. They do clean themselves quite a lot, and they don't want to be that dirty. So they do not smell that bad. The urine and feces smell very bad, but themselves, they don't smell bad at all. If they do get wet, it might just wet damp smell because of body odor that written colour the smell. But once you wet it, it might enhance it a little bit. But they don't smell that bad at all. Okay. Well, Spa Day continues. We'll send you over to Sydney.
You can see I've got the flowers here, which is eaten a little bit. You can see now. I just want to show you that insects as well, they do eat this petal part of the flower, and the flower is still going to fertilize. So that is why here you can see the markings and it's trimmed around it. You can see that was just an insect. Yeah, this plant, I'm not too sure what exactly the plant species is, so I just came across it with this very beautiful flower and pick it up. So this one I will investigate. I'll come back to you when I've got a clear answer when it comes to the identification of that kind of a plant. That was another seed in the form of an insect. So the plant already have been updated that it is a wild basket. So that is Rex, my game squad. Oh, look at this. You see, here we've got the thatch grass. The thatch grass, these are the grasses that we used to eat a lot. When they're still very nice and fresh, you can eat this. And these are the ones we use in order to go out early in the morning with the sickles. And we go and we come here and take all this. So this one is the one which is very much sweet. Yeah. This one is very much sweet, and it has got like a spongy. It's more like a sugar cane, but not that very sweet as the sugar cane. But it's one of those grasses which taste very nicely. So now let's quickly go to Steve and hear what he's having at the moment.
So I know a lot of the viewers going to be saying, please, Sydney. The hungry and he likes to eat out of the bush, do you? He likes to chill out, and just some fresh pung we just went through. Very fresh. See, gonna in portrait some fresh cats and some fresh trucks.
So I just want to check something here. I can see something has been happening. Oh, look here. This animal was targeting the poisonous apple here. I can see there's a lot of them which has been taken down, and you can even see the roots. Look, these are the roots from that poisonous apple. So there's an animal which was feeding on this. But the only evidence I'm seeing here is the droppings from the elephants. Maybe it was the elephants. So they took all this, maybe the elephant was experiencing some toothache problems too. And the elephant came and eat that solanum, which is the poisonous apple, the one I was explaining that it can kill the problem of, it can be able to cure the problem of the rotten teeth. Yeah, the elephant has been here. So maybe it was the elephants. I can see there's even lots of evidence. So all the elephants has been here, and I would like to take this time and apologize on behalf of the team with regards to the inconveniences caused by the bad signals when going to the other presenters such as Steve. I can hear. Yeah, there is an alarm call given by the Francolin much more towards this side of Galagopan. Maybe there is something there. So the thing is, these animals don't only give a warning call because of the big predators. Maybe it's something very small. So now, let's go back to my friend.
Well, it's been one of those incredible mornings where it just kept on coming. The gift of the bush. You have to love it. We had the interaction with our hyenas and elephants. That was very interesting. And then we looked for Talamba and the drag mark and the follow-up of the kill, but still no luck with that. But there's always this afternoon. We are heading back to camp now, and we will see what this afternoon brings. There's been a lot of elephant activity. Just at the den site, it was just one after the other. The hyenas seemed to ignore them after a while, unless they came a bit too close. We had a mouthful of elephant musk as it approached from behind the vehicle. That raised the blood level a little bit, but it was very, very intense, but very exciting nevertheless. Okay. We have got the hunger pains rumbling here, and it's definitely time for supper. Oh, for breakfast. It's not that late. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to hand you over back to Sydney. Catch you all this afternoon.
So I am still here around trying to see if we can find anything interesting, and I'm sitting on this. This is finished already. The termites has been here. When I'm knocking on this, I can hear that there's just a hole in here. So it means the termites, they finished everything. And that is how they decompose this kind of the dead plants, dead parts of the plants. So the termites, they can be able to eat from inside and without coming to the outside. Sometimes you won't even notice that the termites are eating. So that is why here I can see that the whole inside part is finished, and even from underground there, from the roots, everything has been taken out. So this kind of insect, they just convert all these kind of plant material back into the soil. So now we can listen to that. We can listen to what is happening here. So there's quite a lot of interesting noises from the squirrels, and this squirrel is bringing us to the end of the show. And thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. It has been a great ornament to have you this morning, and your questions were very much great. Let's meet again this afternoon.